Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Midnight Blues and Other Musings. I'm Nilla, and I'm joined with Cece. Cece, how are you doing?
I'm doing so well. It's been a long time. The last time, to put in context, last time we recorded an episode of the podcast, Russia was still allowed to compete in the ISU. Obviously, still not the case. It's been a good 2 months since we've recorded an episode since the end of the Olympics. A lot of things have changed in skating since then. Some retirements. We had Worlds, we had Junior Worlds, and now we're officially at the end of an entire Olympic quad. Oh my God, it felt so long. I could not be happier that it's over.
I can't even remember the fact the Olympics only happened about 2 months ago, and it feels like it's been a century since I last watched skating, and I only really caught up on Junior Worlds very recently, so it truly feels abnormal to be following skating right now. But I will say this was a blessing and so splendid to watch. Junior skating might be my favorite thing right now. Oh my God, these skaters are little babies. They are just so cute. And there's something very refreshing because there are no Russian skaters here, right? And like the case with most Junior Grand Prix, Junior Grand Prix final, and Junior World, you will have a Russian skater who will fall 4 times on four different quads, and like their coaches will look very upset at them in the kiss and cry, yet they'll still come out at like in first place with like PCS of like 1.5 billion. And then you'll have like a girl from Belgium, a girl from Japan who skated a clean program, come in like fourth or fifth place with like exceptionally like lower scores. So this is really awesome to see. I think I can speak for CC in this, and that we really enjoyed Junior Worlds.
Yeah, I was talking to Nini before this, and I was like, I think the absence of the Russian skaters was more obvious at Junior Worlds versus Worlds, because Worlds, post-Olympic, a lot of retirements, it's usually a bit of a quieter event. But Junior Worlds, traditionally, you have 3 entrances in every from Russia in every discipline. And I mean, 4 years ago, a Russian won every single discipline in Junior Worlds. So we're definitely in a different time now, and I honestly really like it. It's great to see a lot of skaters that we would normally be in that second group, being in the first group and having the chance to really fight for podiums and placements. Like especially in ladies, like I love the Belgian girl Nina. She's awesome. She's my new obsession. All 3 of the Korean girls getting into the final group, like Seoyoung would have not been in the final group if the Russians were here, assuming they all went, in top 3 or whatever. But yeah, it's like we're in a new era of figure skating almost, and I'm honestly pretty excited. Like I think this is awesome.
We saw a lot of new faces too that I probably, to be honest, would have been less like cognizant of, not because they're not good skaters, just because there are Russian skaters. Like honestly, I'm less inclined to kind of watch every single skater if I'm not watching it live, right? But like now, like I saw so many names like people were talking about on Twitter, and I actually like sat through and watched everyone, and I was like welcome to so many new lovely skaters like Nina Petrakina from Estonia, Nina Pinzarone from Belgium, and
Tale of 2 Ninas.
yeah, and Anna Pizzetta from Italy. My friend
So
Aurora is a really big fan of her. She is so good. I was telling Cece before this. I really like Rion Sumiyoshi. She's so cute. So like so
loved
many
her
love.
short. I loved her short program. I mean, I do not like Tracy Malad, but so good.
But her short program is so cute, and there's something so lovely about, like, I don't know, junior skaters. I think they do a good job with that program, and also her costume was so beautiful. The silhouette was just gorgeous. Also, obviously, Gia, I wasn't too familiar with her before. Oh my God! Again, I was telling Cece this. She is a little baby. She is so cute. She's only 14 years old. Such a lovely skater. Did you like notice her arms after her triple flip in
Has
the
really good carriage.
like did some like, oh, it looked so nice after. Oh, so such a cute skater. Everyone is really good. Everyone is lovely.
No, it's awesome. So I guess we should start with ladies.
Yeah, why don't we?
Oh my God. So Isabella Vito, the woman of the hour. obviously, really made an impression this year on her junior Grand Prix, made the junior Grand Prix final, incredibly impressive, got third at nationals. No small feat considering the depth of the American field this year, competing for that Olympic spot. She beat out Alyssa and Amber for that like national bronze medal. And had an amazing short program, had that free program, and won Junior Worlds. I think this is like a really great momentum for her going forward. She did everything she needed to do in juniors. I think she'll move up to seniors next year with Lindsay, but I love Isabeau. Her skating skills, her extension, her knee bend, like I just think she's just so talented, and I'm so excited. Like I love her programs like so much. Like
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people make the Sasha Cohen comparison with Isabeau, and I do agree with it because Isabeau has that sort of loveliness and refinement without necessarily having those like, really exceptional skating skills. They're not bad by any means. The Sasha's definitely were, I mean, Sasha also had a very illustrious career, and like I really like her a lot, but there's this sort of loveliness that both of them have, and I really enjoy Isabeau's skating.
Yeah.
Obviously, short program was considerably overscored. It did feel like it was like, that score already sort of, they had sort of already come to the conclusion that they were giving her that without actually watching the short program. But nonetheless, beautiful free skate, lovely skater, very happy for her. It is always nice to see the matchup between Isabeau and Lindsay Thorngren because like the coaches, the two Yulias, they do have that rivalry. So it's always interesting to see. And conclusively, Isabeau has come out on top this whole season. And I think for good reason. I think that Isabeau has developed very well in both program components and like her technical elements. There's been like good progression throughout the season. Lindsay too. I was asking Stacey if she noticed any sort of like progression with her skating. And for me personally, I think definitely there has been improvement. I know she's been working with Benoit. And while there's not sort of this expression on her face, I do think that there's this sort of like more expressive quality about her skating, program components now. And also her jumps are they have, like Cece said, this airy quality.
I love Lindsay's jumps. I think she had the best jumps, like in terms of her like air position, her carriage in and out of them. I thought she had the best jumps, like aesthetically. Like I would have given her the highest GOV out of any girls in probably like the top like 5 or whatever. I thought Lindsay did a great job. I think I have to say though, after the girls have been winning the competitions the last 10 years, I think we can never complain about Isabeau's skating skills. Come on, we have like Anna Sherbakova winning the Olympics. But yeah, no, we gotta get Isabeau that government assigned technical coach. We're gonna get her to get those jumps rotated in the air. We're gonna keep her far, far away from Tammy Gamble. She can't even go near Tammy Gamble. No, Lindsay, amazing. I think she's improved so much. I think Lindsay, might have felt a bit discouraged like nationally in the last like couple of years. Always been that like 4th, 5th at nationals.
Nationals, that's a big deal. Olympic.
But yeah, but no, I think she did fantastic. I think this is awesome. I think she should also move up to senior. I think there's no reason why they should be staying behind. Alyssa's retired.
Yeah.
Brady is kind of a non-factor going forward, it seems like.
Yeah.
Audrey Shin is having a lot of struggles. Karen is retiring.
Yeah.
Amber has always had a lot of struggles. I think the field is wide open. I'm assuming Mariah is retiring.
Yeah.
I mean, as you know, she's a hag at 25, according to according to every single outlet.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great opportunity for them to move forward. And I think this is kind of the Gracie Ashley that people rivalry they wanted to have, except their coaches actually have a rivalry. But yeah, I love Lindsay and Isabeau. I was so happy to see they're both on the podium because I think they both skated really, really well. And it was kind of I think this would have gone a lot differently though if the junior Grand Prix final had happened.
Yeah.
I think Isabeau would have probably won by a larger margin, and I think Lindsay would have not been as much as a factor. I think not having the Grand Prix final really, made Junior Worlds kind of like a reset for everyone. Like these judges haven't seen these skaters since the middle of September,
Yeah.
beginning of October. Like it's almost been like 4 or 5 months. And,
Well,
you see him at nationals and stuff,
right.
but like it's different.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, did the Junior Grand Prix cancellation come after Russia was banned from Russian
Before.
were banned? It came before, right?
Remember, it happened in December when Japan was dealing with Omicron, and it was pretty bad.
Right. Okay. Right.
And then Russian ban came in beginning of March.
Yeah.
But I think if the
Also,
Russians, I think the Russians had been here. I think Isabel would have been third.
okay, yeah, I agree with that. Also, out of the U.S. skaters, I'm a really big fan of Claire Seo. I've been a fan of her since junior nationals. She's such a lovely skater, like such a cutie pie, and she just has like lovely her skating skills. She kind of reminds me of Marin in terms of that like lovely buttery skating, but like doesn't really put it together technically. But she's still very young, and I really hope she stays in juniors because I want her to win junior nationals.
No, she needs to stay.
And the field is definitely wide open. I do recall like there are a few people like Mia Kalin. That's like one person who I know like will probably excel next season, like in the junior domestically. But definitely field is wide open for Claire. So I hope she capitalizes on that. I hope she capitalizes it also on the junior Grand Prix circuit. I'm sure she will. Yeah, wishing her the best of luck.
Junior Grand Prix circuit without the Russians is going to be really weird.
But I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it.
I said it. Claire, I think needs to stay. What is Joe Biden going to do about Tammy still coaching? We need to get her out of USSA. Like the fact that you can clearly see the same problems Karen has at like 22 in Claire Seo, a 15-year-old. I'm like, what are you doing?
Seeing her, Sophia Frank's kiss and cry like a jump scare to the nth degree. Like anytime I see her, it's a jump scare. Because like, why is she coaching literally everyone from like every single country, every federation?
She is the junior ladies. She's the Gavois of junior ladies.
So bad for them when they become seniors.
I know. Let's talk about
Gia.
The Korean ladies. So they went second, fourth, and fifth, right? Did Seung get fifth or?
Seung was fifth.
Good.
Austin was fourth.
She's my favorite Korean, younger Korean lady. So I'm a little upset by how she performed this weekend because she's my favorite one. I loved her in juniors. I think she was on the Junior Grand Prix in 2019 when she had that gorgeous, she had the green dress program and then the white and the purple. So pretty. Loved her programs that year. Some of the times she didn't do that well. But Gia, obviously, super young, she got second at Korean Nationals this year. When she turns senior, it's gonna be very interesting. And she can go to Senior Worlds because we've got Young, we've got Hyen, you got Yinlim, you got Gia. I mean, Ashun or Seung could definitely play a role. And those are I think would say the 5 girls, 5-6 girls that are playing the most factor. I think Yinsu is going to get 2 Grand Prix this year because none of the Russians opens up. I mean, she hasn't retired yet, but and she has the minimum scores. I was looking in dance the other day. I was looking at the skaters best list from this year, and we're going to see a lot more skaters that we're not really used to seeing on the Grand Prix because there were so many Russian skaters in these seeded lists that it just opens up so much of the field. So many of the American ice dance teams you only see at nationals are going to be getting 2 Grand Prix. I think Peyton Bai could get 2 Grand Prix. Nice. And Molly and Yegor and stuff. But so that's I think Yunus is going to get 2. But what was your take on the Korean ladies and Gia? Love Gia.
Oh, Gia is so lovely. Also, I love her little flower hairpiece in her La Boheme short program. I don't love La Boheme or anything, but I think she's such a lovely skater that I really enjoy. Also, her costume is so cute. She is just she just has such a beautiful quality to her skating, and her jumps are so airy. I really enjoy her skating. I thought it was interesting. She was actually second at at Korean nationals in the senior. She was second after the short program and fourth after the free skate. So she ended up being in fourth ultimately, and she was the 2021.
I thought she got second at the end. It was definitely second after the short program.
Yeah, and then
You're
she
right.
was a 2021 Korean junior champion.
Yeah,
So
good for her.
I am like embarrassed. I don't really know enough about like I really wasn't too familiar with her before this, but yeah, I mean she won like she was sixth at Junior Grand Prix Slovenia and third at Junior Grand Prix Poland. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I know. Gia did amazing. I think it's like definitely super encouraging to see, this investment that KSF has paid into their skaters really paying off. And I think they're able to see it in more like concrete medals because in the past, like that probably would have not happened. Like I think Gia is the first like ISU medal for a skater since like, UNA, like which is crazy. Um, so yeah, totally insane. I really liked so Ashton was started after the short program.
Yeah.
Unfortunately didn't really have the best free program. And I think Lindsay was a bit stronger in her jumps. So she got bumped down to fourth. But I still think like I think both Ashton and G will be in juniors next year. And so I think that's definitely they're gonna play a role in the junior Grand Prix. That's why I'm not like too concerned with, this was kind of like a trial year. And I think Gia is so young too. Like she can't even go to seniors yet. And like if the rule passes, won't be able to go to, I mean, she'll have to move up next year
Mm-hmm.
and be super young. Because we have the ISU Congress in a couple of weeks. And I think they're going to do the rule. I
Yeah.
think it's right now, it's proposed for 17, but I have a hunch it might be like, I wonder if they're going to move it up to 18. So it's like no one is a minor.
Right. Yeah.
Because that was the whole problem with Camilla is that she was a minor. I know Anna was 17 and like it would have been okay because she was considered an adult. But I
Right.
wonder if they'll do it 18 because 18 is like pretty much like the internationally like legally accepted age of like you are an adult and have your own autonomy and your decisions, or you theoretically do. But yeah, and then Seo-young, my favorite Korean lady here, did not do very well. She had that awful free program and that fall in the double axel at the end, but it was going so, so well. I was very upset. What are your thoughts, Nini?
Her short program was so good. Her short program was really, really good.
You guys can't see. I'm like tearing up right now. Like I'm like getting
Really
like
like her nails. They matched her costume in the free skate. That's all I can say about the free skate.
yeah, the free skate.
Comments, unfortunately, not because it was not good. It was a little
It was
disaster.
bad. It was bad. It was bad. That's all there is to say about it. It was bad.
That being said, I do think that I personally think the title should have been given to Gia. I'm gonna be honest. What do you think?
I know. I liked Isabeau so much more. I think Isabeau is like has so much more like zhuzh to her, and like I'm not that worked up about the end of the day because Isabeau's gonna go to seniors and Gia's gonna be in juniors. Plus Isabeau had like way more momentum. Like she qualified for the junior Grand Prix final. Like she was probably gonna be that top 5-6 at junior worlds no matter what happened, just because she qualified and she won a junior Grand Prix. Got that third at nationals. She did everything she was supposed to do and she was rewarded for it. So I'm not mad that she won. I think she deserved it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like too mad about it or anything. I have always really liked Isabeau. Also, Ariana is a very big fan of her, and she's kind of the one who I think, at least like our friends and stuff, like I feel like she's the one who kind of like introduced everyone because she kept on making the Sasha Cohen comparison.
No.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, no, I have to say Ariana got me into Isabeau. She would like always post the videos. I'm like, oh, oh, this girl, she's so tiny, but she's so good. Like she's so like she's very like I don't know how to describe it, but she like also I'm gonna say Lindsay and Isabeau, because American ladies have not traditionally had good posture. I was like shocked at how good their posture was in their carriage. I was like, they have been putting these girls in their ballet classes. Like I was shocked. Because like, oh my God, Mariah and Brady have like the worst posture known to man. And I was just like blown away at how good their posture was. Probably like one of my main takeaways in terms of American. Yeah, USFSA, the big winners of the Russian, I guess, suspension. They medaled in every discipline. They medaled in every discipline at actual worlds and won 2 events, and they won 3 events here. Like,
yeah,
They are sitting pretty.
Yeah, because they're also second in like in terms of like the federations who have that like political momentum right now. It's like JSF, it's USFSA above JSF because JSF has never really capitalized on I feel the right skaters who kind of
I
deserve,
agree.
you know, when they've politicked so much for Shoma, even though that's not a skater who I necessarily think should get all that, you know, politicking. But USFSA has been I feel it's very smart this junior worlds, which is going to be so good for Isabeau and Lindsay when they become.
No, they played smart. Like they gave, and they also gave Ilya like that huge ass lead.
Yeah,
Like they, why I think USFSA is the smartest federation is that they, in the past 4 years, they were not always like this. I would have to say they've had the best development in the past 4 to 6 years or so. They've been developing the right skaters for like their ice dance development is insane. Like no one other country, maybe besides Russia, had more ice dancers competing. They've been, you know, sponsoring the right ladies. You know, they had, I mean, Ting didn't really work out because she had a lot of injuries. But, you know, they couldn't have predicted that. But Isabel and Lindsay, they both invested in them pretty significantly, and it's paying off. Pairs, they've recruited all those like Russian pairs and those Ukrainian pair skaters. And you know, now that everyone's retired, it's like really coming into handy. I said that after like 2014 or so, like USFSA, like I've like said, like they really started to ramp up their development. And I think, as I said, it takes 8 years for a development scheme to kind of like come into fruition. Said this with KSF, like they probably started in, you know, 2011, 2012 or so, and they're really seeing it in their lady skaters now. You know, a Terry and Sambo 70 took like 8 years to get to the point where she was dominating every single competition and had the skaters to really win everything. Like, if you want to do a good, like, thorough development in skating, it takes 2 Olympic cycles to do so. And I think UFSSA took this and also really capitalized on that power vacuum and took advantage of it. I would not be surprised if we see American skaters dominating the future. So, yeah. Yeah, I guess we can talk about men now. So we had Ilya winning the whole competition, which is awesome. I really like Ilya. I think he's a great skater. I think he's really funny. I think his technique is amazing. So I think I was really happy for him to win, and I think he had the largest margin out of, you know, like any junior world's victory for men. It was something like 25 points I saw from skating scores, which crazy to me. But I think this really sets him up well. He got fifth, I believe, or no, he got ninth at Worlds. He was fourth at the short program. And I mean, he got first at Junior Worlds. I think this really sets him up, excuse me, very well for seniors, considering all of the US men are retiring, besides like Camden and Tomoki, I think, of the ones that, you know, top 5, 6 at nationals. Because Jason, certainly Vincent, and Nathan are retiring. I would not be surprised if we see Ilya as, you know, number 1 next year. So that was super exciting for that. And then super exciting men's competition. So Wellesley Chu was second after the short program, but unfortunately had that, you know, kind of stumbly free program. And I feel like that's very common with men. You know, you get the ordinals from the short program to the free program are never ever the same. And seeing Gogolev after a while is he's like so old now. Like he's like what, like 16, 17? And he looks so old. How old is he? Because he was 50. He was
17.
he's 17 years old. Oh my god, he looks so old. I was like, is he 19 years old? Because he was 13 in 2018, right? When he won the junior Grand Prix final.
With the little rat that's like, I am just little and I have no job, and the rat is like speaking into a microphone, and there were a lot of memes that's like Stefan. That is like,
yeah.
that is not Stefan anymore. He's
old. He's like 6 feet tall. He's so tall.
He's probably like 8 inches taller than us. No, more than that. Like 10 inches taller than us. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. But I mean, like, still, that's. I mean, coming back from that growth spurt and injury, and honestly,
Yeah.
to be honest, I thought he had retired and that he really would not skate
I'm
again.
gonna be honest too. I thought he was done for. I was like, I was like, there's no way. But if there's one thing Ralph is gonna do, he's gonna have his skater have a comeback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the thing is, I really thought that his family just immigrated from Canada to like Los Angeles and just like decided to settle there. Stefan was not going to skate anymore. I thought he was still like skating with Rolf under the guise, like under the guise is still skating. Which like my mistake, but also that's kind of just a reality of growth spurts, which we kind of see with like Ting, who, you know, had not a growth spurt, but just sort of a lot of struggles and
Oh yeah.
so,
Honestly, good for her though for living her life.
definitely, she's at Middlebury, which is really awesome.
Living her best life
Competing
as she should.
on the collegiate level, which is awesome. So Stephen was still fifth, which I think is admirable after that comeback. Also, major win for Kazakhstan. Like major win for Kazakhstan.
Oh my god, that was like so heartwarming for me. Like, I don't know, the Kazakhstan Fed has been through a lot in the last like 4 years or so, and I am just so happy that they had this win. Like, I'm so happy for them, and I'm hoping Kazakhstan applied again for 2030 Olympics, to Winter Olympics to host. I hope.
Oh, that would be so amazing. Oh my god.
That would be scenes when Elizabeth turns by Ava, lights the Olympic torch.
Oh, that would be amazing. Really, really like Shedorov skating. I think his like free skate. I told Cece that it reminds me of music that you play to a baby to like make them smarter, happier. And Cece was like Coco Melon. Coco Melon, is that what it's called? It was like Teletubby music.
Coco Melon? Is it Coco Melon?
Coco Melon? Oh.
I don't know.
Parents don't like let their babies watch that show, right? Because it's supposed to be really bad for the kid. Something like that.
I don't know. I don't have children. I'm not really up to date on what's best for the parents. Oh my god, but I've been obsessed with those TikTokers that are observing like mommy bloggers that have like accounts for their kids and like who the audience really is for that. And I'm like I'm very deep into that whole conspiracy.
See, I mean, I don't, about like Mia Knight or Maya Knight or whatever. She has those like two twins, Scout and something, and her babies, unfortunately, like, I mean, it's the case for like most children, like if they're posted on like public social media platforms, like unfortunately when you do like garner a big following, like really disgusting people out there will.
When I have kids, I'm never posting them on Internet. They will, if you know me, you will receive pictures of them, and that is like it. Like I'm like, there's this woman and she has like, and there's this like guy, he's like a dad, and he runs like a dad podcast, and he would like he and his wife used to have accounts for their kids, like just had the usernames, didn't post anything, and the audience like for those like things was something like 90% male. Like, and it was like, he was like, this is why, like, if you are a parent and you're posting your kids on the internet for the world to see, like, don't, like, this is like who's out there looking at your kids' posts. Not to like suddenly veer into the subject of like pedophiles and like family bloggers from skating, but I am like not a big like fan of like social media in general, especially when it's like connected to my public identity, if that makes sense. But yeah, that was like, I've been learning about that on TikTok the last couple of days, and it's very scary. I'm really happy that my mom like never really got into Facebook, so like no pictures of me were like ever posted anywhere that weren't like a Shutterfly album that was like shared with our family or whatever. I don't know. It was like makes me grateful that my parents also hate social media.
Yeah. There's something very like unethical too. If your whole platform revolves around the popularity of your little baby children, like these mommy accounts have 8 million followers. And if you take away the baby and the child, no one like, and this is like even for like someone like me who's like, I think the baby is cute. Like I think babies are adorable, right? Like I don't watch these people because like, of the mom's contact. Like they will use the babies as like the main source of entertainment, but unfortunately there's a very dark side to that because very horrible people use the content in those videos to do very horrible things. And I am also deep on that side of TikTok where people are like, it is like honestly inconscionable, like to like put babies on these platforms. Like even on like Facebook, you don't know who is consuming this sort of media outside of, especially like I know like, you know, most people I know, like if you have if you're like mutual friends with someone, like you can see like all of their stuff on their Facebook, right? Like nothing is private on social media. And I don't know.
Especially Facebook, you really have to go out of your way to make your Facebook private to only people that you're friends with. Like you really have to go out of your way.
Yeah.
Because I had to privatize my Facebook for something, and they had to give us like detailed instructions. It's very difficult to do for Facebook. Like it's not like Instagram where it's like turn on or turn off.
Right.
I think it says a lot about Facebook if it's really hard to make it private. So that was like, yeah, no, I think like a lot of these, like I was saying, like in like 10, 15 years, there's gonna be a lot of stories of like children that are, you know, coming out and saying like, I didn't consent to any of this, or like talking about what they went through with their parents. Like, I think it's gonna be a lot of what we hear like with child actors in terms of like them. I mean, like Britney Spears is an example. Like she was her family's sole income for a long time, and they really relied on her to survive. Like, I mean, like Millie Bobby Brown is one example. I think of more child actors, but I can't think of any that are like fall under that umbrella. I think a lot of them are in like the 2000s and stuff.
Macaulay Culkin too.
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin is
that's like a big person, big name.
It's a big one.
That's coughing in the background. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Third place. Sorry for that tangent. Honestly, though, I think that was a good discussion that we had. Tatsuya Tsuboi came in third. Such a lovely, so good. His jumps. Oh my god, his jumps are so good. Oh,
I am so excited. I hope that he beats Shoma next year, and we can have him and Yuma, and the battle of the best, who can have the best, like deepest knee bend.
Oh my god, his knee bend, his edge quality. Oh, everything is so good about his skating. I'm a big fan. I'm his newest fan. Wesley Chu, like fourth place in the free skate, but still like overall, like I really like Wesley.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Didn't he go to like the Olympics like really last minute as an alternate?
Yeah, because he got third at nationals, and he was gonna be like, if Keegan could not pass his COVID test, but Wellesley went with them to Pyeongchang, and he was about to like, if Keegan was not able to get into China, like Wellesley Chu would have taken Olympic ice for Canada, which is crazy to think about. That whole Keegan situation is like such a fever dream in retrospect. Like he was really like put on a plane like something like 20 hours before the free program started, and went directly from the airport to like the joint program. Like I think that's insane to me.
Yeah. Also Cow, poor thing. Why was he at Junior Worlds? I don't know why.
Yeah, I was gonna say something later, but I think JSF wins for most unproductive.
Yeah.
Fed. You know, they, you know, every other Fed during the year, you know, while JSF was doing niche, they were putting in the work, putting in the hours, politicking. Only one medal this year. Not that they like are particularly a threat in dance or pairs, but I think if they had, you know, their ladies, I think there were a lot of complaints about who they chose to go to Junior Worlds. They obviously didn't have them compete in the Junior Grand Prix, no Junior Grand Prix final. This was the first junior competition for a lot of these skaters this year. I mean, hopefully JSF takes the opportunity to, you know, kind of focus on the bigger picture and less on the regional conflicts. But I think that, you know,
Cow was 20th in the short program. He was so injured.
Like, I know. Why was he there? Like, why did they send him there? Why didn't they get an alternate there? Like, it's not like they didn't know he was injured.
Ice, you should not be allowed at Junior Worlds. And it's hard for me to say that because I do think that that eliminates a lot of opportunity for like smaller federations, but you have someone who represents Japan, which is obviously a very large federation, a powerful country in skating. I feel like there's like, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think you can like send whoever you want, and like I think Japan has to accept the consequence. I think they only have 2 spots for men next year. I mean, it's just the same as like Vincent um, barely making it out of the short program last year at Worlds, and Nathan did win though, so they had to qualify that 3rd spot through Nebelhorn, which Vincent did do. I think that just JSF needs to pick their people better, like in terms of who they send. I know they have that 13-year-old Mao Shimada, I think is her name, who's going to be the next big thing in Japan. But it reminds me a lot of like Rika and how they were like counting on her to win Worlds and counting on her to do all these things, and then she didn't do anything. And her career since 2018 has kind of taken a nosedive. But yeah, I don't know why they made Cal compete. Like that was like, and also like also Wakaba has like her shin stress fracture, and she skated through it, and she obviously didn't do as well as hoped at Worlds. And I mean, it's no wonder why like people are injured. But I feel like people like it's a very normal thing to do for the injuries, like not just in skating, but just like in life. Like people don't have like foresight, or like I don't know, like you live with the body you have for the rest of your life. And I think a lot of people forget that sometimes. People in my sport do a lot, and it's really sad to see like the stuff they kind of have to do to get through every day. And I'm sure it's like just the same, if not like worse in skating, just because of like how young you are, and how like skating is really much a sport where you have to like do things now, otherwise, because it is such a young sport, and how things are gonna go. But yeah, no, the injuries are in the last couple of days. We had Cow, and I mean Wakaba. It's just very sad.
Yeah. Who else?
And then there was that American kid, Liam, I think is his name.
Liam Kapekis.
Yeah, he was like in the final group of the free program, but he didn't do that well.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a quad. He reminds me a bit of Jason Brown in the fact he doesn't have a quad. I think he fell on his triple axel too.
Yeah.
Very, very Jason Brown of him.
Yeah. He's 17. Oh, he was a U.S. junior bronze medalist in 2020. Hasn't. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Did he compete on the Junior Grand Prix? Man.
I can only find his regional. Yeah, let me look at it.
No worries.
He was at Riga in 2019. I can't find any other results. Maybe he was injured. Yeah, no, he was at a 2021 Cranberry Cup International in Norwood, and he was 5th in juniors, and he went to the Agna Spring Trophy 2022 when he was 3rd. I can't find anything else on his ISU page, and like he went to the Youth Olympic Games in 2020, which is cool. But other than that, it doesn't look like he's had much like international success or like international presence since 2020, 2019. So yeah, he skated to Moulin Rouge.
I know. Moulin Rouge, it always hits. It always hits. Agna Spring Trophy reminds me of how KSF decided to send Hyen to 4 competitions in a month. She competed 10 times this year, in like 10 times, including her junior Grand Prix, her senior Bs, all of her national competitions, and then of course 4 continents and Worlds.
So ridiculously irresponsible of the
federation. And now she's like injured. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, I wonder why.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to dance.
Una
so exciting. I love every single person. I was so happy. Like Natalie and Bruce, always been fun.
Yeah.
I just love him to engage. It was such a good podium. Everyone did so well. I was so happy. That Korean team, Hannah and is it Yekwon or Kwon Ye? I forget his name. But oh my god, if Yekwon, okay, if Korea finds a Paris boy, they got themselves a team for the team event. Like Dead
And
ass.
they were fourth in the free dance. That's amazing. That is amazing.
They were so good. Oh my god, the free dance. Did you see the protocols for the free dance? They were ridiculous. The scores that Jeffrey Chen and Katarina Wolfskin got were absolutely ridiculous. Like, and the way that the Canadians were hosed, both Canadian teams were hosed, was actually like shocking to me. I was like, you've got to be joking me right now.
I am shocked about Nat and Bruce. I'm not like, I don't know.
I mean, they've always been that number one team in Canada, junior team, since Marjorie and Zach moved up. Like, kind of like not always, but they were kind of like, oh, like we're saving.
Yeah, but Nadia and Peter were third. And like Nadia and Peter have never necessarily had that like sort of same success that Nat and Bruce have had. Like both, they've never had that sort of success.
No,
Like
unfortunately, I like Nadia and Bruce more than I like Nadia.
Yeah.
And
also, like we've interviewed Nadia and Peter.
I know Nadia and Peter are my favorites.
Nadia was in ballet growing up.
I know. I was so excited for them. I was like, especially because like they like had they like literally like have been in Canadian skating for like 2 years. Like,
right. Yeah.
2-3 years. So good. I was like not expecting them to, like they barely scraped by to get to Junior Worlds.
Right.
And then they got third. So exciting. I wonder if any of these teams will move up to seniors. I don't know if they will, considering certain people in Canadian skating seem content to stick around.
I think Nadia and Peter will.
Nadia and Peter, I mean, they're the same age as Natalie and Bruce, though, so I feel like they'll move up together.
For some reason in my head, Natalie and Pete, and yeah, maybe. I think that Natalie and Bruce can definitely capitalize on the fact that there's no Kognovskaya and Anglopol next season.
I don't know. Junior ice dance. Well, yeah. I think Una and Gage are going to stick around because they're so like. Yeah. Ariana was saying this. I love Ariana's Curious Cat. I read it every day, like the morning newspaper. She was saying like they did win Junior Worlds, but they won with like very juniorish programs.
Right.
Like I actually hated both their programs this season. Like I didn't like any of them. I'm really happy they won because I love Una and Gage, but didn't like any other programs. Very juniorish. They look very young. Una, I think, is like 15 years old, and so I think she's 16 now. Like she's 15, 16. She's very, very young, and I think moving up to seniors that young in ice dance, and what would they be moving up for? To be like 7th at nationals? Yeah. Like just like wait for people to retire. And you'll be able to capitalize. I think the Browns are the most talented among any of the current ice dance teams in the U.S. I think Jeffrey and Katarina will probably move up. I think they're aging out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, huge disappointment, like huge shock from them. She fell on the Twizzles in the short program, completely knocking them out of contention for the podium. They got 5th overall. Huge shock considering how they like pretty much dominated the Junior Grand Prix. They probably would have been in the fight for the gold of the Junior Grand Prix final. They won Junior Nationals, I believe. I'm not certain on that though. And yeah, I personally don't really like their skating, so I wasn't too upset about it. But definitely opened the opportunity for the Browns, and they seized it. And I think life is all about the opportunities that you take, and you seize yourself. So.
Awesome. Shout out to the team from Cyprus, Angelina and Ilya. I'm a really big fan of them. I think I discovered them a few months ago. I think when everyone did. I really, really like them. I think they have a super bright future. They were 8th here after Angela and Caleb, the U.S. team. So yeah, and also the German team, Daria and Mikhail, they were 5th, which is awesome. So really great for federations who don't necessarily don't have a super strong international presence in the senior level, because this is awesome, and it's the beauty of right now Russians not being at Junior Worlds, because right now they have a lot of momentum going to next season.
Exactly. And I think Junior Worlds, I said this on Twitter, but I think Junior Worlds, going on what I said earlier, it takes 8 years for good development. And I mean, if you look 8 years ago, that was pretty much when the IOC was like, we're gonna have a team event, and that's an additional opportunity to get a medal. And when a lot of smaller federations really started to invest in their skating, I think Estonia is one example. I think Georgia is one example. I think Korea is an excellent example, especially in their men's and ladies. And I mean, them getting Hannah and Juan, like, they're so good.
Right.
Like, that was such a get. Like, they take a Paris team and they're like set. I think Italy's been doing the same thing. They've been like, really building up those pairs and stealing those lady skaters from other countries. And I think it really showed at Junior Worlds in the diversity of the countries that were in the top 10. It was countries that you would not necessarily see, a year ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago. And it makes me really excited because I love the team event. And I think that a more competitive team event is really good for the future of the sport, because it's kind of like a little teaser of like, every discipline competing, and it's more like family friendly, I guess, and like everyone's supporting each other. How people like to watch the team event for gym versus like the individuals. Is it called the team event in gym, or is it called something else?
Yeah, team event, and you have
Yeah.
So you have individual, you have the individual like finals, and you have like all around finals, and then you have the team event, which like, I don't know, it's very fun to watch. And it's why I really like the team event in figure skating, because I think the more medal opportunities someone, like, it's just more exciting and more development for the sport. And it's like super exciting for teams like Georgia, who probably wouldn't get a medal like in the individual events. So like seeing how Anastasia Gubanova develops, and I mean, their peers, like,
Georgia is going to be a threat. Like,
they are going to be a threat.
I did a little like thing. I think team event, this is just me guessing, in 2 years, it's gonna be US. I'm listening countries that are gonna be involved. I think it's gonna be United States, Japan, there's gonna be Cyprus, Georgia, Estonia, Italy. I think France is gonna make it. Actually, I don't know about France. I think Belgium's going to qualify, but not have a Paris or dance team again. So probably it'll be Czech Republic who replaces them. And I think Germany has that dance team.
Yeah,
very good. And they had that lady too. And their pairs are always quite good. I think Germany is, it's always been a solid like 7th, 8th in the team event. But yeah, dance was like really fun. I think it's exciting for the future. Speaking of dance, we had the new ISU ruling about the no pattern.
Really terrible for the sport.
Interesting, but not surprising. And I think people are blowing the like choreograph like jump things out of proportion. Yeah. I think what they're envisioning is like Tessa's like half axel like exit out of the goose, or like I think there was like a video where it was like the girl, like, I'm like demonstrating for Nini, the girl was like, the guy was like holding her and she did a little like twist in the air, and he was like going like this. Like, I don't think he's actually like side by side. Also, like, ice dancers can't jump.
Ice dancers do. I'm sorry.
Have you seen Scott's axel? That axel is like holding on.
They do ice dance for a reason. They're dancers for a reason. You don't worry. They do not run the business.
There's like little like hop things, like, which honestly I think is fine. I think it's like, I think allowing them the opportunity to have more creative exits and choreographic like sequences, because they don't have to have 2 blades on the ice at all times unless they're doing a twizzle. It's gonna be really interesting, because I actually really liked the exit out of the goose where Scott like dips her, but the one where Tessa jumps out is also very cool. Yeah. So I think
jumping.
What?
Oh
yeah, Tessa isn't even jumping. She's like stepping off his back, but they were like, that is an axle. Because you start forward when he picks you up and you jump off backwards. I was like,
it's the half loop, right? Off the goose.
Yeah, it's a half axle.
Oh, half axle.
It's a half axle because she starts facing this way. Like,
she's demonstrating whether.
Sorry, like if Scott is like right here, she is like has one blade is on the ground, and she like steps up, and then she comes off like on this leg and she twists off. Yeah, I'm like demonstrating how to do the goose.
Yeah, you
Suck on that, Tessa Virtue.
Get this front row experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I would just like to point out the fact that most ice dancers cannot do what Tessa Virtue did off the goose. So like, don't worry, guys. We do not run the risk of seeing ice dancers doing like crazy jumps.
It's just like choreographed stuff.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting though. Someone brought this up. Like they're like, oh my god, like I think people are fear mongering a bit. Like they're turning pairs into one discipline. I was like, you think those ice dancers can do a quad twist?
Yeah.
Have you seen how tall those ice dancers are? Yeah. Maddie Hubble cannot do a twist. She cannot jump. She's too tall. Yeah. But what the hell is the ISC going to do about pairs? They had 3 groups at Worlds, and they had barely 4 groups at Junior Worlds.
Yeah.
And people are retiring. Like, this is like, I think the state of pairs is honestly a cause for alarm. I think the ISU needs to allocate money individually to the feds to increase their pairs.
JFF. Like, there needs to be so much more money going to that federation for the development of pairs, because I will say that pairs is actually my favorite discipline. Pairs has always been very exciting for me. I've never found it to be a boring discipline. I find it way more exciting than singles, because I find it very innovative, and I found it more innovative before 2018, just because of the rule changes and stuff. And like, I think Junior World was also very exciting for pairs, just because of the Georgian team. But then you also take into consideration there were literally only 10 skaters in the free skate, 10 pairs teams in the free skate.
It's getting grim.
Yeah, there was not a single Japanese junior team in the so cause for concern. Speaking of pairs, Safina and Berulava, they're so good. Like, they're so good.
It's crazy.
This has been their year, first in both the short program and free skate. I think everyone's a big fan of them. I really like their skating. I like both the Georgian pairs teams, but like, this is definitely like Karina and Luca's season. It was like Anastasia and Hector, the Australian team that placed second. Really cool to see. Because Katya and Harley, a few years ago, they won Junior Worlds, and there hasn't been really much development with, skating in general. In Australian skating.
Hey, put some justice on Holly and Jason's name.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Yeah.
put some respect on their name.
I'm really sad for Smirnova and Cianitsia. I really like them. I think they have like a really nice little fan following.
They're gonna win US Nationals next year. Like, don't even worry. Don't even worry.
But like Danilo, he like is recovering from long COVID, and he only got back on the ice, I believe. Oh my God,
that's horrible. Well, they're gonna be fine next season. I'm literally like not even worried.
Yeah, like, so 4th, really like awesome. I'm very sad though, because 3rd in the short program was awesome, but honestly, like, just based on that scale, like, it was very clear there was no stamina there. Cece's currently flying up a bug.
Sorry, there's a bug in my room.
Oh no, what kind of bug?
It's a moth.
Oh.
Sorry, okay, it's like fine. Yeah, no, they're gonna like literally win senior nationals next year because there's no teams left. But this means Ashley and Tim are gonna stick around, which I'm not super excited about. I really do not enjoy Ashley and Tim skating.
Yeah, I'm not super pumped about that.
Also, oh my God, Ashley's concussion at Worlds. Second or third concussion we've seen publicly. I'm sure there's
parents
many
are truly irresponsible for keeping her in that sport.
Like, no, she should have never. Like, she is way too tall for Tim. Like, I said this in private to someone, but I think the only reason Ashley was continued pair skating with Tim, considering they're way too short for her, is because her parents are their coaches. Yeah, like her parents are enabling this, and it's just like dangerous for Ashley and for Tim. Like, Tim is like so slow on ice because they have to bulk up so much to support Ashley, because Ashley's she's really, and it's hurting her. Like, I don't even, like, her brain is probably like mush by now. Like, I know, yeah. Gotten at least 2 serious concussions in which there was like blood. Like, she like actually hit her head and blood came out. I know that like that happens with head injuries with a lot of capillaries, but like still, like, I don't know, it's just very like dangerous to watch that happen. So they're probably gonna stick around because every other US pair retired. But I think Smirnoff and what's his last name?
Cianizia.
Sinizia are gonna be going to Worlds next year.
I hope so.
Plus, US has 3 spots next year.
Yeah, and the Canadian team, Brooke and Benjamin, they were in third.
Oh my god, they were so good.
Yeah,
they were so good.
Really
I'm excited for them. And sorry, I think I'm on the names. The spinning out pair.
Evelyn,
Trent.
Trent.
I would love to see them like form a little like Canadian like rivalry mentorship the same way like KMT and Michael were with Evelyn and Trent.
Yeah.
We never talked about this, but I am like so mad Vanessa and Eric medaled at Worlds. Like literally beyond. Did you know that was Vanessa's first world medal? She never medaled with her.
Yeah.
And Morgan.
Because her and Morgan.
Because remember they flopped in the short program in 2018 when they were supposed to win? Yeah, I remember that. She like fell on the throw or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was like really mad about that when that happened. That they medaled. It's like great. All the haters wrong.
Yeah.
I said something about like how like God, who's the Canadian high performance director's name?
Slipchuk?
Yeah, Mike Slipchuk. I'm like, I tweeted like in February, I was like, Canada's literally gonna medal in Paris. And Mike Slipchuk is gonna be like, oh my God, guys, like, Canada has accomplished so much this quad, medaling at Worlds in 2020, 2021, and 2022. We got 4th in the team event. And I'm like, that was luck. That was
pathetic performance from
Canada, the biggest losers. UFSSA, the biggest winner.
Yeah.
Like they started this quad like very like in a dark place. A very dark place. Their ladies had their worst performance in Beijing. Pairs not looking great. Their men, Nathan just flopped at the Olympics. Vincent was like all over the place. They had no third guy. Dance, they were like, okay, we got like 3 teams. Ended the quad at a very high note. Biggest winner. Them, I would say JSF. Like JSF got 2 medalists in Olympics at men's. So that's a huge deal. And then Kaori won and Shoma won Worlds.
Yeah.
And their pairs team. I think they win for. I think it's so crazy that like how undeveloped their other disciplines are. They got a pair at like 4th at Worlds, and I was like, oh my God, like they're developing. Like this is such a big deal.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that they invest more on the junior level into pairs.
Yeah.
And ice dance. Let's get some ice dancers in Japan. We need some more people that are not Tim Coletto and co and Mana and Dai. Like let's get some people that are under the age of 30.
Yeah.
Just for the future of the sport.
I do like I think Kana's an awesome skater, but like man, we need young people.
Yeah, love her what she's done for Japan and ice dance, but like girlie's old, let her rest. Yeah. I'm still so mad I didn't go to the Olympics.
In terms of non junior worlds news, Misha Mitrofanov has a new partner. Audrey's going to UCLA. He's skating with Angel Collier. Very sad though that like Audrey is not skating still with him, but like it does open up the field for so many skaters, because I don't know, you never know how like new teams with like new partnerships are like gonna go. Like there's like that Mervin and
how's Mervin's head doing? How is his what's the status of his Japanese citizenship? Can we export him to Japan?
Yeah,
I know. Good for Audrey though, retiring, going to UCLA. That's what my family calls UCLA, is UCLA.
And Mana moved Mia Hamada.
Yes. Good for her.
To train with Miyoko Higuchi, who was Shoma's old coach, which is like awesome. Very good.
I thought Shoma's old coaches were really good for him. I thought they really trained him. Like he was like
trained him. I think his work
ethic was so good. Like when he was with them, like he kind of pulled a miracle out of Beijing. Like I don't know who the coaches at Champuri sold their soul to Beijing, but yeah, he did really well.
No.
Yeah, no, I really like his old coaches. They were working miracles on the daily.
Because they were like also his childhood coaches. Like
I know, they were good.
Miyoko was kind of like, it seemed like a maternal figure, and again, we don't know like the ins and outs of like their coaching partnership, but his work ethic just seemed to be like a Shoma problem. Like it wasn't because of like it just seemed like he was a person. Yeah,
that Rika got injured because she got the same workout plan as Shoma. They were like, oh, it's fine, but like Shoma didn't do his workout plan. Rika followed it to a T, so Rika overtrained herself. Yeah, that makes me so annoyed. Like, yeah. Did you see Marin wearing Shoma's jacket?
I did. She's possibly training in Champuri, right?
Yeah.
My God, I don't even want to think about it. Moving on to some unfortunate news, Ari Zakarian, who is the vice president of the Armenian Federation, who's also Pushenko's manager, and also like if you have ever watched like FAIO like or any like Japanese skating shows, like he is the one who orchestrates all like the Russian skaters being there. So yeah, he has confirmed that Russian athletes are going to be invited to the Armenian Open Figure Skating Championships, which is absolutely like horrible. Armenia should absolutely be sanctioned by ISU. They should have.
He's literally gonna get Armenia sanctioned. Like he's such a dumbass. Like, I also so on like an awful level of like you shouldn't be endorsing that. I don't understand how that works on a logistical level. Like they're not like it's Armenian national championships. You can't have skaters from another country competing at your national champion. It makes zero sense. Combined with all this though, like it's obviously horrible. Like they should no way be allowing them to compete. I think he's really asking for Armenia to be sanctioned from the ISU at a minimum, if not like other diplomatic sanctions from other countries. And it's not like Armenia is like in a position to be an enemy of the West right now, just in a geopolitical standpoint, because it is in a border with Russia. It is in between Turkey and Azerbaijan, two countries that are very close to each other and very against Armenia. Armenia is in a very dangerous geopolitical neighborhood. So I think Ari Zakarian is a dumbass to be pulling shit like that.
Yeah. It's like very idiotic too. And it also, I will say, it just feels like Ari Zakarian is very much exploiting a country and a federation who.
Is he actually Armenian? Like, or is he like just like a Russian guy who is in charge of the Armenian Federation? Like, what's the situation on that?
I do not know. He's a former skater. His name is Ararat. He might be like I've spoken to him once.
You spoke to him?
Yeah.
What? Wait, you have to tell this. I've never heard this story.
Via like Instagram DM, and he didn't write in Cyrillic. He would write like Russian words in English.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, I'm sure like he can write in Cyrillic and like can read, but he did like reply in Russian, but in like English, you know what I mean? Like not in like, yeah.
I don't speak Russian, so it doesn't make sense to me, but I'm sure for other people it does.
Yeah.
My language skills are limited to English.
No, mine are too, as noted by my pronunciation, with like everything, even for like English words, my pronunciation fails me. Yeah, so feels like he's really exploiting this federation who, not good.
Exploiting a federation that doesn't really have a lot of like room to be like the bad guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like Armenia has also been through enough hardship and genocide and like years of like atrocities to be taking advantage of them in quite literally a war between a country who is also being exploited, in this case Ukraine, by a former like former global superpower. I mean, they do have a large amount of hegemony. I'm talking about Russia here, but like it just feels very, I don't know, feels very wrong, obviously. But yeah.
I hope someone shakes him and knocks some sense into him, because he's gonna get his federation blocked.
But there's no like reasoning with people like that, given like what happened at the Plushenko.
I agree, but I mean, I think if you appeal to like, you can do this, but then we can't compete at ISU championships, and then you don't have a job.
Well, that's like the reasoning that a lot of like Russian skaters, like they were essentially being like, they said that they were blindsided. Like I know Lisa Kusamushieva and like
Oh
Alyona.
my God.
Yeah, they said they were blindsided and like
I think
yeah.
I gotta do what you gotta do for the public. So the ISU is like, we like in 3-4 years, like they're evaluating who they're gonna let come back. I don't think Russia's gonna be. I would be shocked if Russia is competing in 2026.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they're gonna be competing anytime
Yeah.
soon. I would be like, gotta have your alibis.
Yeah.
Gotta have the story of your grandfather's heart medication ready to go.
Right, yeah.
Ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, on the, in other sports, like on the tennis front, Wimbledon.
Oh my God, did you see that?
Yeah, Wimbledon banned. I will say though,
I saw that.
I will be honest though. My opinions for other sports are a little different than my opinions are going to be for figure skating, just because I've seen sort of the Russian athletes in Andrei Rublev, like everyone saw that video of him saying no war, like on the camera.
I was surprised by his comment protesting the ban of the Russian athletes in
most people are upset about them. Most tennis players are really upset about it.
Yeah, I'm not really, I was actually very surprised, but I was reading the Wimbledon or tennis, like Wimbledon Lawn Club's tennis statement. It actually makes a lot of sense. And I think from a political standpoint as well, if you were England and you currently have sanctions against Russia, I don't think it's right. And I read something like if a Russian McDonald's worker is, facing economic hardship for what's going on, it's not really fair that a tennis player should be getting accepted to that. And I was like, that definitely persuaded me to decide individual sports are, maybe a play. I think also figure skating obviously plays a much different role in the cultural consciousness and political export of Russia, if that makes sense. Like figure skating and Russian nationalism are so intertwined.
Oh yeah.
That they're inseparable. Where tennis is an individual sport. These people don't live in Russia. They live
and they also they don't live in the extent of them. They live in Monaco. They live in
Dubai, and they trained elsewhere for most of their life. They're not as much in the Russian
16, system. They do not live in Russia.
Yeah, like Maria Sharapova moved to Russia, moved to whatever, just 10 or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's not the same Sambo 70, you are born in Sambo, you die at Sambo, sort of deal. But I'm honestly expecting that if the war continues until August, I don't think Russian players would be allowed at the US Open.
I definitely agree. I'm awaiting that.
Yeah, because I just in general think that obviously US taking a very hard stance on the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
I don't think the Russian players would be very welcome either. I genuinely think they would, if they were allowed to play, I think they would be treated horribly. And I don't think that that's necessarily fair, but I can see where the emotions are coming from.
Yeah, and most of the people that come to US Open, they're wealthy people who don't necessarily follow the sport closely. So they are probably going to be inclined to give the tennis player boos rather than people who do follow the sport, which is unfortunate. But like Cece said, it is coming from a place of anger, even though we obviously believe in obviously no Russian athlete should be booed unless they have done some really horrible shit, as in I'm giving the example of Evgeny Rylov or Victoria Sinitsina and Nikita Katsalapov, who attended that horrible rally. There's obviously a difference.
I think also I was reading the Wimbledon thing and Guardian did a really good piece on it, and they were saying the reason why it took so long is the British government was getting involved, and they were you cannot have the image of a Russian athlete lifting the trophy at center court when we are currently in a war against Russia. That's just, I think people it's just an image, but images are very powerful, and that would definitely be exploited by the Russian government. And I think it's, a lot is talked about sports being a cultural war. And I think if this is a cultural war, you can't let the enemy use anything against you. So if that means banning Russian athletes, and tennis is in a very that they're individuals, they're from a country, but they're representing themselves. But I think that's gonna probably be the way it is. Did the French Open ban Russian athletes? I don't remember.
I don't believe they have, no.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I don't think the U.S. will let them play, especially after the Wimbledon decision. They were individuals, like they were like Olympic athletes from Russia in Indian Wells in Miami, but I don't think that will fly for the U.S. Open, considering the British Lawn Club has already made that decision. And I mean, I don't think it's like, I don't know. I tend to agree with their decision. I think it's the right decision for everybody, if that makes sense. I think in a way it's also not protecting the Russian athletes, but I think saving them from a lot of grief.
Yeah, and also Evgeny Rylov, who is Olympic champion swimming, he was banned by the FINA.
Really?
But for 9 months, because they saw him attend the Putin rally that Vika and Nikita were
I did not know that.
Every single athlete who, okay, it's hard for me to say this because Victoria Listino, like, there are a couple of gymnasts there who are minors who were at the rally, and it's, they were very much exploited, but wouldn't be surprised if in gymnastics they were banned. And I think that I'm very surprised that the ISU hasn't said anything about Vika. And
I mean, they're already banned, so there's probably no reason to say anything.
Right, that's true.
Like they can't compete. Why
would they?
ISU
has already done.
Yeah, done and dusted. I'm actually very surprised how radical figure skating has been in the context of other sports.
Yeah.
Like figure skating was like, you're done. You're done. Like was one of the first sports to like completely ban Russian and Belarusian athletes, which is very shocking considering the words figure skating and radical are not words that you hear together very often. But I was very surprised at the quickness of the ISU. I suspect it may have been because, I mean, everyone in the ISU knows the cultural export value of Russia. They cannot have a Russian athlete winning worlds in 2 weeks when they know there's a war going on. Because, I mean, also, I think, I said this before, but I think whichever, like, figure skater or, like, Russian athlete messed up next after Camilla for doping was going to be really blasted to make an example out of them. And I think, and the next person ended up being all Russian athletes. And so and I really think that's what's behind, especially in the ISU, the very rapid and thorough, like total, like you are done, like you are not allowed to compete, is because a lot of people were very upset in how the Camilla situation was handled, which was a farce. I think it was completely ridiculous on every single level that she was allowed to compete, that there was this whole, like, might not even be a medal ceremony. The fact no one in the team event has gotten their medals still. It's been 2 months. They probably will never get their medals in like 10 years or something. I think it's completely a farce. It's absolutely ridiculous, totally shameful. And I think what might have partly inspired the quickness and banning of all Russian athletes, I think people in figure skating have been pretty tired with Russia, at least in the last couple of years. And I think the Russian figure skating paid its price for its hegemony eventually. Because like I so have like, Jim more, so I've like Russian and gymnasts and like rhythm gymnastics like not been banned. Are they like still allowed to compete? I know they're not in season though.
To be honest, I haven't been following.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah. And I am like, I think like as most people should do, like abstain from any sort of like Russian national streams.
Yeah, I don't think people should, like, it doesn't matter if you stream it from another source, you're still participating in
the consumption of Russian media.
And the consumption of Russian media, especially when you talk about it in public, like you're still like advocating their, like, as I said before, like sports is like a cultural war in a variety of ways. And I think it's just something to really think about is if, you really are for Ukraine and are against this invasion, I think you need to think about how you interact with Russian media and Russian figures, and think about, what you're saying and how that, indirectly or directly may be in support of them, and, the Russian government support of them as an extension.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. With that, I think we're both gonna peace out.
I know it's late.
Yeah.
It's so late. I know this one. I haven't caught up in so long.
Yeah.
I guess the next time we chit chat is for the Junior Grand Prix. Oh no, Grand Prix assignments. We'll do Grand Prix.
Grand Prix assignments.
Which will be first week in July, probably. That's when they were last year.
Yeah.
They were right before my birthday last year.
Yeah. I hope we have some exciting skating news. I kind of miss like the timeline being bustling.
I know. After the Olympics, they're like kind of need the break. Like it was crazy. I was shocked. I had 500 followers in 2 weeks. I was like, I don't like being famous. I don't like being
Yeah. I've been using my Twitter. It's like a personal diary now. Like today, I'm baking iced lemon loaf and it smells so good. Like I will just say things like, Twitter is my personal, and I'll tweet perfume recommendations every day.
Oh my gosh, I have to show you. Wait, the new perfumes I got.
Yes, tell me.
Okay. So I got the solid Glossier U a couple months ago because they used to have it in the solid and then they stopped making it. I was like, I need it. Like I love the U. It's very nice. So, and then I got the Sephora order and I used my Sephora points to get the Nest Golden Nectar.
Ooh.
And it smells so good. It's it's very musky and floral, if that makes sense. Nice. It's so good. And I love how it's it's a roller ball. And so it's a perfect travel perfume because it's super small and it's a roller ball. I hate the sprays. And that's why I really like the solid perfume is it's not a liquid, so I don't have to worry about it spilling.
Yeah.
And what's awesome is you can buy the pans, so and it's refillable.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Very fun. All right. So thank you guys for listening to our episode. We hope you enjoy it. It's nice to catch up. And I hope you guys all have a great day. Bye bye.